Good evening and welcome to another episode of Poor vs. Standard. Poor here. As always, we are not financial advisors, so any and all information and opinions within this podcast and video are for entertainment purposes only, so please don't sue us. Don't do it. As always, you can find us on the YouTubes. You can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as you can see us on Twitter at vs_poor. Or you can reach out to us via Gmail at poorvstandard@gmail.com. Or please feel free to join our Patreon at patreon.com/poorvstandard. Okay, how's everybody doing? That was a very red Monday. And as you can see if you're looking on YouTube, in the public portfolio, we are down almost $1,200. We are sub 20 grand in the public portfolio. And I feel like I owe everyone who watches and pays attention a public apology because, man, that is some shitty numbers from a high of 38,000. We've lost roughly half our value. Man, that sucks. However, we still haven't sold most anything, and that's okay. We've made some plays. We've made some plays that didn't work out. If it wasn't for Clover, we'd probably be closer to 30,000 than 20,000, and, well, that's on me. But we still have some Clover. We still have a lot of things that maybe we should have sold and made some money on. But what do you do? We were up on two things, and those two things happen to be the puts that I bought as insurance. The SPY put that I bought, we were up $3 on, and the Taiwan Semiconductors put that I bought, we're up $42 on today. So everything else was super red and made me sad. But that's okay. I like what we have. We did buy more of a couple things. We bought some, not Corsair, but I should have bought more Corsair and probably will. We did buy some Tattooed Chef, I believe. And we also bought some Palantir, because Palantir is currently down at $23. And that's an amazing value. If there were three things in this portfolio that I'd like to buy more of, it would be Corsair Gaming, Palantir Technologies, and Tattooed Chef, because Tattooed Chef's at $18.03. All three of those, I believe, are very good buys, as well as the Walgreens Boots Alliance. I would like to buy more Leap calls in that, because currently at $46.69, I believe Walgreens Boots Alliance is heavily undervalued and will do amazing things. Now, Amazon also down almost $100, almost 3% today. Amazon, hell of a buy. Can't recommend it enough right now. I don't think it's seen this level of low since the pandemic. So hold on to your belts. Those are the five things in this portfolio. I know I started with three, but we're going to go to five because, man, those deals are getting deep. And they could go lower. I don't know. But you'll notice that I'm not sounding like I'm depressed, sad, and upset about all this. I'm actually kind of happy because I think I'm going to start injecting more money into this portfolio now. These things are super low. I like them a lot, and I think I'm going to do that. So let that be on, your minds. Think about it. And if you have some dry powder, throw it in there. Unless, of course, you're more of a crypto guy, then let me talk to you. Or woman, crypto woman. So here's some of the things that I think are worth a buy right now. I think Bitcoin at 49.2 is it shot up the fastest of everything in here. Because it's Bitcoin. Because it's the progenitor of crypto. It is the granddaddy. It is the crypto before all other cryptos at 50,000. And there are a lot of people saying that by end of year, you're going to see anywhere between a 57 and 75,000 Bitcoin. Possible. There is something called Uptober. Research it. Look for it. And get back to me on that one. I don't think I'm going to be buying a lot of Bitcoin right now. I think it's shot up a little fast, but I still have some Bitcoin, so I'm going to hold what I got. Ethereum at under 3,400. I could buy some of that. Not going to buy heavy, but I can definitely buy some of that. Where I'm going to put most of my money for the three cryptos that I do believe in long term is Cardano. Currently at $2.20, all-time high of $3. I think this is a great buy. Of all the cryptos that you can buy, this is the one I would recommend. because I think it is severely undervalued for what it is. And it is going to do very well. It is one of the top 3 cryptos by market cap. It is an amazing technology. If you know anything about cryptos and what they do, this one is definitely one of the better ones to own. Long term, I'm not trying to be some type of like crazy conspiracy nut that goes off and says, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. That's not me. Long term, 10 years out, Cardano. Do you think it's still going to be around $2? Do you still think it's going to be around $3? Do you think it's going to be $5 in 10 years from now? I think you're going to look at Cardano and you're going to see anywhere between a $12 and $20 Cardano in 10 years. Now, not only because the value of Cardano is going to go up because they're doing such amazing things on that network, they're increasing what they're doing with it, what you're able to do with it, all these hard forks that we've had that have made it more accessible with the smart contracts and things like that. They're also starting token burn. They're decreasing rewards. Things are happening to make the supply more scarce. Things are happening with Cardano that you're going to see it become more and more rare, like Bitcoin, and more valuable. I mean, you've got 2 halvenings of Bitcoin between now and 10 years from now. Bitcoin will be fine. Bitcoin will shoot up. If you have Bitcoin, if you're shooting for a target in Bitcoin, I tell you what my targets are. For Bitcoin, I want to own a whole Bitcoin. I don't know if I will. I used to, and I sold it to basically buy my house. But yeah, Ethereum, I want to own 32 Ethereum so I can start my own node. Am I gonna? Probably not. That's a lot of Ethereum. But yeah. And I currently have like 3, so I only need, 29 more. And Cardano, my goal. I want to own 10,000 Cardano. I could see that one being more realistic. 10,000 Cardano right now. That's, 21 grand. 21, almost 22 grand. Sure. So long as that price stays low, I'll keep buying. I could get there. I could see me getting there over the course of a couple years. Sure. But that's the updates on everything that I want to give updates on. What we do want to talk about, and you're probably going to hear a lot more about, is the fact that how the pandemic has put a hiatus on a lot of market goods. There's a lot of shortages. There's the chip shortage. There's so many different shortages. Pick a market, there's a shortage. Remember the lumber shortage. Remember the hard material shortage with steel and all that. Now you have all these people who aren't working because they don't want to work for so little money because they're used to what the government was giving them in the US. And now you have all these people, all these companies who can't get their product in off of these ships. You have a massive backup in freighter ships all around the California coast, all around the coasts of the U.S., even in like the Atlantic, Pacific, in Mexico. There is a backup of ships with goods on them waiting to be unloaded, but we do not have enough help workers at the docks to unload these things. These docks are working at maybe 60% at best. So it's taking upwards of 9 days, where it used to be like in and out and under control in a day or less, for all of these freighters with all of this cargo to just unload and go. And now it's taking over 9 times that. And there are talks that it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. Because you don't have the workforce that's willing to work, and you are backing up all the stuff, so there's not things for other workers to use to create these jobs. All because of one thing that a lot of companies have put into place ever since the 70s, and that's just-in-time manufacturing. It was a cost-cutting measure that was used by Toyota in order to not have to warehouse a lot of backlog worth of stuff. Now, Rudy from Alpha Investments just covered this, and he believes that it's not going to be a thing because of the pandemic. And I believe Meet Kevin just put out a video about just-in-time manufacturing as well. Now, just-in-time manufacturing is a great way for companies to save money because they don't spend a lot of money on warehousing, extra space, extra parts, things that go bad, that kind of thing. But then something like the pandemic hits and you're up shit creek without a paddle because you have no extra inventory. So you just sit there and twiddle your thumbs because you can't get the parts you need to create your product. You can't get the groceries you need to run your store. So you start laying people off. Then you can start getting the things again, but then the workers don't want to come back, so you can't sell the stuff. It is a mess, to be certain. And at the end of the day, the person who's going to be able to clean up that mess is the person who has products. So those that have hoarded, have warehouses full of stuff, have things that the public wants and demands, is going to clean up because they're going to be the only game in town. So you're going to see probably going to see a lot of companies start hoarding and building up supplies in case of another pandemic type situation where their supply chains are cut off from what they wanted. And I think you are going to see an abundance of purchase orders from companies that will compound the demand on a lot of these, and you're going to see a lot of stocks rise because of it. I don't know when. I can't tell you when. If I knew when, then I would not be down in the public portfolio by almost half. So that's part of it. The other part is these multi-trillion-dollar spending bills that the Congress wants to pass that I don't think need to be passed, and a lot of the taxes and things that they are going to try and implement with these, like the 8 cent per mile on internal combustion engines. One of the taxes that's in one of these plans, that's how they plan to pay for all the spending on these multi-trillion-dollar bills. Now, you're a $40,000 per year employee. You make $40,000. You spend, let's say, $100 per week on groceries. So that's $5,200. Let's say you're $40,000. Let's say it's even after tax. You're $40,000. So you're spending $5,000 on groceries every year. Pandemic hits. We've seen prices go up from $100 to $130 already for the same amount of groceries. So you just added an extra $30 a week. So let's do this math, shall we? So 30 times 52. So you've just increased your price of groceries by $1,560 a year. So that, divided by your 40,000, 39% increase right there. Or a 3.9% increase. That's right. Yes. Of your total salary. They implement this 8 cent per mile tax on you. You drive 15,000 miles a year. Let's say. That's around the average. 12,000 to 15,000. We'll do worst case scenario here. You're looking at over $1,000. You're looking at $1,200 right there. That's another $1,200 that you weren't paying in taxes that now you're paying every year. And some people who are in the industry believe that you're going to see another 50 to 100% increase in the costs of groceries, goods that you buy, because right now all these farmers are they're renegotiating their contracts because they've been stuck in these contracts, basically selling their products at a loss during the pandemic and such because they've been stuck in these contracts. So now in order to make up for that, they're going to raise their prices, and they're going to raise their prices because of inflation. So you're now $130. He's going to increase by another 50%. So, let's go back. Right there, you're at $195. You're $100 worth of groceries doubled since 2 years ago, basically, is what's going to happen. And that's at the low end, because that was only a 50% increase. So that, times your 52 weeks, that's $10,000, over $10,000 in groceries. Now, we said you're making $40,000 after taxes. You're spending $10,000 on groceries. That is a quarter of your after-tax earnings. You just went from spending roughly 12% to 25% or more on groceries. So what's that going to do for your mortgage? What's that going to do for your insurance payments? What's that going to do for your gas? I mean, gas is going to go up too, because that's a thing. And then if you're compounding the fact that not only are the farmers and such raising prices, but you have an 8 cent per mile tax on all those truckers who are bringing the groceries from the farm to the market, that 8 cents per mile is going to get passed on to you through increasing the price of those groceries even more. You are going to see your grocery bill increase exponentially at this point. That is my belief. So Kroger's probably a good investment. I don't see why not. Grocery chains, things like that, because they're going to be raking it in on your dime. They're going to be, even Walmart, like, they have these contracts that they're going to renegotiate, and they're not going to lose profit over that. You find a way to buy farm futures, buy, pork futures, all that kind of stuff. Basic goods are going to go through the roof. And it's going to screw people who aren't making $250,000. It's going to screw the people who are making $40,000 before taxes. These taxes that they said they're not going to tax anyone who makes $400,000 or less, these are the taxes that they're implementing. And you'd be damned to tell me that they're not going to hurt the people who are making less than $400,000. This is why I hate governments. This right here. Because they say one thing, and then out the other side of their mouth, they do another. It's absolute hogwash. It's absolute bullshit. And it affects the little people more than they know. They don't care. They've got millions of dollars. Nancy Pelosi's husband is buying shit based off of her telling her, oh yeah, we just use this guy as a government contractor. And so he goes off 2 days later, buys a $300,000 worth of a stock that she told him to buy. An amazing miracle. They don't get fined. They don't get the SEC breathing down their neck. Who gets the SEC breathing down their neck? Who does? It's not them. It's you. It's me. It's Elon Musk. It's people like Michael Burry. Investment people who don't have inside tracks of knowledge of who government contracts are going to. It's the people who are investing in things like GameStop, AMC. The SEC's trying to make sure that their hedge fund friends can't and won't get penalized. They're going to come after you because you. That's why. I'm sorry. It irritates me so much that these are the things that they want to propose. These are the things they want to do. And they say that they're not going to hurt the little guy, but that's exactly what they're going to do. And you're the little guy, and I'm the little guy. And who do we have to go to complain? The government? No, you don't have the government to go to complain. The government's going to take care of the government. The government's going to take care of the people who work for the government. The government's going to take care of the people who they want to take care of. And it's not the little guy. And it's never going to be the little guy. The government doesn't give a shit about the little guy. The little guy is who they should be afraid of. Because there's a lot of little guys. And that's why they're so scared of this AMC GME movement. That's why they're scared of these people who have access to information for the first time ever in stock markets. Because they've started to get together. They've started to act like hedge funds. And the hedge funds are afraid because they're being outplayed. And now they're asking the SEC to take care of it for them because they can do that. We can't do that. But that's neither here nor there. Soapbox moment over. I'm sorry. Sorry I gave you the swears, but it gets me riled up. But we'll see what the rest of the week holds. The debt ceiling was raised. They averted that crisis. So you'll see whether or not they pass these bills. If they pass them, it doesn't mean a lot of good things for a lot of people. It actually means a lot of bad things for most everyone. Right now it looks like they're both going to be dead on arrival, but we'll see. We'll see. The only things you can do are do the best you can, do the best job you can, get your job, start a business, find a niche, find something that needs to be done and do it. But don't rely on other people to take care of you. Don't rely on the government to take care of you. And rely on yourself, rely on your ingenuity, your inventiveness, your creativity. And always keep learning. I'm not saying college. I'm not saying go to college. You don't need to. Not everyone. College isn't for everyone, but always try and do better every time. Try and learn more. Try and do something that you didn't think you could. You'll be surprised what you can do when you put your mind to it. All right. Well, this has been Poor. This has been Poor versus Standard. Stay tuned. We've got a lot of options courses coming through on YouTube. With visuals, so that you guys can actually get visuals instead of just the podcast version of the options, which are available for free anywhere you find podcasts in the very early episodes of the podcast. So, all right. Trade well, be safe, and I hope you have a great week.